We're back. Hello guys and happy 2018. I really hope your new year is being at least somewhat tolerable. Ours has had a rocky start, but we're getting there. And of course, this being our first video of the year means it is a Meet Our Pets video. Whether you are a newbie to the channel, whether you're an infrequent viewer and just confused about the pets we do and don't have, or whether you just love seeing our animals and want to see them all together crammed into one video, that's what we're doing today. The family dynamic has definitely changed somewhat since I made this video last year. It's got a little bit bigger and also there's a little bit of a surprise. Scratch that slightly because if you're following me on Twitter or Instagram, you probably know what that is already. If you're not though, hang around to the end of the video. You're not going to be disappointed. In this video, I will be introducing you to each and every one of our current pets and telling you a little bit about them and their personalities. But if you want to know more about them, if you want to know how they came to be a member of our family, they do each have individual story videos explaining that, and I will link those in the description box down below in case you want to learn more. Let's get into this thing before people start putting timestamps in the comment section. Video starts at this point. No, it doesn't. The video started at 0000. That's how videos work. Since the main focus of my channel is hamsters, I see it only fitting that we start with those guys. So first up on our pet list, we have Iodine. And by the way, you're probably going to notice a theme with our small pet names, and that's simply because I choose to name our rodents within the theme of science. Just makes things easier for me. And currently, I am naming them within the theme of elements of the periodic table. Iodine is our long-haired, cinnamon-colored female Syrian hamster. Bit of a long title, but that's what she is. And she is an absolute diva. She 100% runs the show in any situation. If there's something she wants, she's gonna get it, and she's gonna get it now, because if she doesn't, she's gonna cause trouble. Iodine frequently gets herself into mischief, one of the most notable times being the day she climbed inside the wall. And stressful hilarity ensued, and I did vlog that, so if you want to see the fun times that we had drilling into the wall, you can go and check that out on my channel. Iodine is roughly around a year old. We don't know her exact age. She was estimated at about 6 weeks when we got her. However, it's possible that she could have been slightly older, so she's around 11 to 12 months, we think. Given that hamsters have an average lifespan of 1.5 to 2 years, we're really hoping she's going to make it through the entire year, so fingers crossed. And one teeny tiny note to add to the end of Iodine's section is the pronunciation of her name. I have been called out on this so many times, and I need to point out Iodine is the correct British pronunciation of iodine. I am aware, I do realise that in places like the US it's pronounced iodine. That sounds so foreign to me. That is not the way I was taught the word, that's not the way I say the word, that's not the way anyone around me says the word, so, you know, you can call her Iodine if you want, but that sounds so weird to me. Hamster number 2 is a particular fan favourite, and that is our big chub of a chubby fluffkins, Sulfur. He is a Campbell's dwarf hamster, and his colouring is called Platinum Blue Fawn. Now, blue fawn on its own is quite a popular Campbell's colour, you see it quite a lot, but the introduction of that platinum gene does something quite interesting to this colour and many other colours in Campbell's dwarf hamsters. It actually dilutes the colour down. The physical differences of the platinum gene are really interesting, and they can vary quite a bit because they can make the hamster seem almost totally white, or they can make the hamster just appear a little less saturated, maybe just a little dusty. His colour is very pale though, and he is so fluffy and so confident as well. Now, we've not had him very long, so at the moment we don't really know his true personality. It's only just starting to come out and we're just getting to know him. So there's a lot still to learn about him. But right now he seems to be quite a strong and, as I said, confident character. He loves to explore, he loves to burrow. I mean, hamsters are burrowers anyway, but this guy loves it. He doesn't burrow for necessity, he burrows for fun. And I've definitely noticed that you guys really seem to love him, especially when it comes to merch. Sulfur's merch has sold more than any of the other animals. So yeah, he's got a bright future ahead of him. One more thing I should mention about Sulfur is he is a red-eyed hamster, and this is perfectly normal, it's perfectly natural. There are many new hamster owners who don't realize that hamsters can have red eyes. In fact, they can have black, grey, brown, bright red, dark red, or even pink eyes, and sometimes people think it's caused by a health problem or caused by them being an albino hamster, which they're not. It is just their eye colour. It's perfectly normal, perfectly fine, perfectly healthy. It's just the way their eyes are. Unfortunately, there are a lot of myths and misconceptions about red-eyed hamsters, and they are the least popular hamsters for people to own. So I want to do a video later in the year talking about basically all the nonsense that surrounds them. Hamster number 3 is another newbie to our crew, and that is little Osmium. She is a female winter white dwarf hamster, and she is sapphire in colouring. Once again, we're still learning a lot about her personality, and we don't know a great deal about her right now, but we will do as the year goes on. Currently though, it seems she's quite a timid hamster, but when she does trust you, she trusts you really well. She is quite happy to be held by me. She's a little bit more jittery around Dan and around other people, but she'll get there eventually. Osmium's cutest quirk is that she loves to climb. Now, hamsters, generally speaking, are not big climbers. You do get them occasionally though that love to climb, and she is one of them. I am so impressed by her ability to climb. She is so nimble, she has so much balance. It's really unusual for hamsters. They're quite clumsy animals. They definitely can jump and can climb and can do a lot of things people think they can't do, but they're not as elegant and as acrobatic as mice and rats, so it's unusual to see one that is just so able to do things you wouldn't expect of a hamster. One thing I am often asked is, do Osmium and Sulfur live together? And no, they do not, for two big reasons. First of all, they're obviously, one's male, one's female, they're different sexes. That would be extremely irresponsible to have them in the same cage. But the other reason they don't live together is because they are also different species, and although they are both dwarf hamsters, one is a Campbell's, one is a winter white. There is a misconception that dwarfs are dwarfs and so they can all live together. That's not the way it is. Yes, Campbell's dwarfs can live with other same-sex Campbell's dwarfs, and yes, winter white dwarfs can live with other same-sex winter white dwarfs, but you can't put a Campbell's and a winter white or a Roborowski or any of them together. You just can't do it. Rodent number 4 is not a hamster and actually doesn't live with us yet. This is a soon-to-be pet. Most of you know about it at this point. I've wanted one for about 4 years. It is our little male mouse, and I've had his name picked out for about 2 years, and I'm so excited to get him. It's supposed to be in the next couple of weeks. I don't know when it's happening. It just is constantly, when is it happening? When is it happening? Things going on, stuff getting in the way, but you know, it's so close now. It is so reachably close. So if you're watching this video later in 2018, you should be able to find his intro video somewhere on my channel if you want to get to know him. And I say him because yes, we are getting a male mouse. Yes, we are getting one male mouse. Again, common misconceptions here. Female mice are the social ones. Females are the ones that need to live in groups, with the exception of some rare situations. But females kept in groups, males solitary, need to be kept alone, so that's why we're getting just one. Moving out of the rodent section now and into our bigger pets, going into the kitty cats, we have 2 little bitty kitties, and although they look pretty similar, they are not related in any way. First of all, we have Bertie. Now, he does not belong to any particular breed, he is just a cat. That's it, he's a cat. These are often referred to as domestic short-haired or domestic long-haired, depending on the coat length. No different to a mongrel dog, it's just a basic meow. A basic meow. That is what he is. That is his new title. Bertie came to us as the result of a complete mess of a situation. My mum actually owned Bertie's mum, and she was due to go and get spayed. There were some complications for Sushi, so she couldn't have the operation at that point in time. Unfortunately, during that time where it was delayed, where she was supposed to be being kept indoors, somebody let her out of the home. You can't see who I'm looking at, but you know who I'm looking at. You know, we all know. So she did get out, and sod's law, the one time she got out, she got pregnant. So yeah, but she went on to have a very healthy pregnancy, a very healthy birth. She had 3 kittens in total, 2 of which are still with my mum, and the third one is Bertie, who came to us. He's very naughty. He breaks things often for attention or for food or for fun. He is constantly knocking things over. We have to be really vigilant about putting things away so that he doesn't smack them off counters. And yeah, He's a spoiled little thing, but he adores people. He adores attention. When people come around, that's it. He's in their laps, fuss me, love me, I love you so much. He's all over people. He loves them. Elizabeth, on the other hand, is totally different. She hates people. She loves me and Dan. She loves Dan especially. She's definitely Dan's cat. But strangers, no. If the doorbell goes, if someone knocks on the door, you are not going to see her for a week. It is terrifying as far as she's concerned. But that is completely understandable. When you know her background and her situation. She is an ex-feral cat, and here in Cyprus the feral cat situation is so different to most other places in the world, and certainly very, very different to how it is in places like America or the UK. There's just a whole different cat world. Typically though, when it comes to feral cats, if they are healthy, they're not in danger, they're not bothering anyone, then, you know, people will take care of them on the streets, but you leave them there. The right thing to do is to leave them there, because they're not willing or wanting to live in people's houses. But Elizabeth came from a situation where her colony was in a lot of danger, and you can find out more about that in her story video. They had to be removed for their own safety. Because she was so young, she was able to be housed with people, and it took a lot to bring her around to us and to our dog and to Bertie, and, you know, just the general situation of living in a home. But she's definitely maintained a lot of her wild characteristics and wild traits. So she's a little bit different. She's a little bit scatty, but again, she's a very, very loving cat. As I said, she's very loving towards Dan. When Dan comes home from work, the first thing she does, runs straight up to him, and she climbs up onto his shoulder and basically puts her paws around him and demands a hug. She asks for a hug, like a people hug. It's so cute. There are no ends to the quirks in her personality, and she is now over 2 years old. She's about 2.5, I believe. And just like Bertie, she does not belong to a particular breed. She's just a moggy, just a cat. Slight change of location for pet number 7, as you can probably see. This is our doggy. This is John Hurt, if I can lift him to the camera. Hello. He is, as you probably suspected, named after the now late actor Sir John Hurt, and our dog John is an ex-street dog. Cyprus has a massive problem with stray dogs. You see them absolutely everywhere, and unfortunately many of them have just been dumped. That's not to tar everyone in my country with the same brush. Not everybody thinks it's okay to dump dogs. It is illegal. It is something most people are really obviously against, but unfortunately there is a small group of people still who do terrible things to them like that. The most common question I get about John is, what breed is he? Now, I'm not going to sit here and pretend he's some fancy breed. He is almost certainly a mongrel, but the breed he most closely resembles would be a schnauzer, so we do call him a schnauzer mongrel when people ask. I have had viewers in the past tell me to get one of these dog DNA tests done. There's a couple of reasons I have no desire to do one of those. Firstly, it's not proven to be scientifically accurate. It is supposed to be just for a bit of fun, and that's quite an expensive bit of fun. And the other reason is that I just don't care. I really don't. I have a mongrel dog and I am proud of that. I have a mongrel dog with an amazing beard and I am proud of that. It's so sad that in 2018 there are still so many people almost ashamed of the word mongrel and this snobbery around purebreds. Not everyone who has a purebred is like that, I know, but there are a lot of people like that. I can't even describe how hard I roll my eyes when I hear people who have done these dog DNA tests go from having just a normal little terrier mongrel mutt thing, all of a sudden claiming that their dog is, it's a spaniel, pointer, Afghan hound, Burmese mountain dog, foxhound, wolf mix. No, it's a mongrel. You just proved it by saying that. I am not going to be fueling that weird little world by doing a dog DNA test, and then every time, because I'd have to make a video on it, and then every time someone asked what breed John was, I'm sure there would be comments replying saying he's a terrier, bloodhound, all sorts of nonsense breed mix. No, he's He's a mongrel. He looks like a schnauzer. If you want to call him a schnauzer, fine, but you know, he is what he is. So John is around about 3.5 to 4 years old. He has really started maturing this last year. He's kind of hit his adult years now. As is normal for a dog, about 2 to 4 years they start growing up. And he is just the biggest softie. He's always been the biggest softie. But he's calmed down so much. He's so chill. He's so lovely. Just look at him hugging me. He's actually pretty jealous at the minute. And the reason for that will become clear in a few moments. As far as personality goes, John is a very loyal, very playful, and very protective dog as well. He does not like strangers in his home. He is pretty good as far as dogs go. I definitely feel pretty safe around him, although he's quite small. He's about just above knee height for me, so not the biggest dog in the world. You're so lovely. I know. You're beautiful. Yeah, you're beautiful. You're beautiful. Yes, you are. You're beautiful. And now it's time for that surprise I promised you. I want you guys to meet, if you haven't already, and if you'll actually come up to the camera. Come here, baby. This is Rodney, who is trying to chew my engagement ring. Please don't do that. He is another street dog. We've had him for, I think, almost 2 weeks we've had him now. Oh, ooh, that was rough. Technically, he is not ours yet, and I'll explain why in a few moments. You can see he's very excited. He is about 6 months to a year old, so he's a puppy, and he has no manners whatsoever. He's currently being trained to behave and to understand house rules, and he's doing toilet training, everything. He's doing pretty well. He's a smart little chap. And now he's just rolling onto his back. Hello. Yes, I know you want to play. You're so excited. I know. Now, Rodney is also a mongrel, but as you've probably noticed, he does somewhat resemble a retriever. So if you want to call him a retriever mongrel or a retriever mix, whatever, I don't mind. So to explain why he's not ours yet, and there's just so much still to explain. We'll start with the backstory side of how we on earth have another dog. Why do we have another dog? What's that all about? Now, a couple of years ago, we had no desire to have another dog, and we also couldn't anyway, because John, when he was younger, was very temperamental about new dogs, and he didn't want other dogs around. He was definitely, at that point in his life, a, one dog kind of dog. And we weren't sure that that was ever going to change, so we just kind of assumed it wasn't. But over the last year, as I mentioned, he has really matured, and one of the changes that he's gone through is actually being a lot more sociable with other dogs, which has been great. It's been really exciting for us. We started to think maybe he would benefit from having another dog in his life. And this was just something we considered as, just a maybe idea. But then about halfway through, maybe close to the autumn time of last year, I started getting pangs for getting a dog, because John Hurt, as close as we are, as much as I love him and he loves me and everything, he is through and through Dan's dog. He loves Dan. Dan is his whole world. There is nobody on this earth that he could love more than Dan. And while I would never do anything to change that relationship they have, because I love it, a little bit of me was starting to get jealous that I didn't have that same partner in crime relationship, and I started to think I really want my own dog, one that we can focus on bonding with just me, which is pretty easy to do when you want to do it. So we talked about it for quite a while, and then I think it was in about October we decided, yes, this is something we're gonna do. We're gonna get another dog. I didn't really know exactly what I wanted, so we didn't have plans for exactly when it was going to happen, which is why in the video where I introduced Sulfur and Osmium, I also talk about, some secrets I'd been keeping from you guys. But I did mention that video there was one secret I couldn't mention at that point in time, and this was it, the fact that we were talking about getting another dog. The reason I didn't want to talk about it was just because we didn't know when it was going to happen, whether it was going to be sooner, whether it was going to be like late in 2018. We didn't know. So we wanted to keep all of that hush-hush until we knew exactly what was going on. Anyway, December rolls around, end of December last year, and this little puppy suddenly turns up outside our apartment complex. He was very thin, no collar, licking my microphone, I'm sorry if that suddenly sounded weird. No collar, didn't look like he knew where he was or had any plans to go anywhere. He'd kind of made a nest in the field outside. He was very friendly towards everyone, saying hello to all the dogs in the neighbourhood and saying hello to all the people. Dan had gone out earlier in the day with John, and John had said hello to him, and we immediately saw the two of them got along together. Please don't eat those. Oh, no, no, no. Oh, I get used to having a puppy around again. So we went out later in the day, and the little puppy got up and decided to follow us, and he was being all cheery and chirpy and happy, and basically acting like he was our dog, and followed us all the way from our home right to my mum's home, which is a couple of streets away. He's now chasing a fly, and it was during that walk that I kind of decided that I really, really wanted him, that he was just the kind of dog I was looking for, with the exception of being a him. I was hoping to get a female, but, you know, just for trivial reasons, nothing serious. So it was a spur-of-the-moment decision to get him specifically, but I do want to make very clear that this was not an impulse decision altogether. I don't advocate for impulse buying, well, any pets, really, but especially the high commitment pets. That is really not a good idea. It's so easy for things to go wrong and for you to regret it and not have a good relationship with them. It's just not worth it. So it wasn't unplanned and it wasn't completely impulse, but it was, yeah, you know where I'm coming from here. Anyway, we took him in, we gave him somewhere to sleep, we gave him food because he's very hungry. Next day we took him straight to the vets to scan him for a microchip, which he doesn't have, and also to get his health checked up on. So he had, at the time he had fleas, those have now been treated. Obviously he was underweight. He has an ear infection, which we're currently treating, ear infection in both ears, and he has some pretty bad dental problems and is potentially going to need dental surgery, but that is not something we can deal with right now, and the reason for that is the same reason that we can't currently call him ours, and that is because when you find a dog on the streets here in Cyprus, there's a 15-day waiting period before you can legally adopt them as your own, just to prevent dogs that are loved and are missing from being rehomed. You're really wanting this fly, aren't you? He's going crazy over it. So we are still in the 15-day waiting period. It ends at the end of this week, on Friday I think it is. And after that point, we should be able to do all the legal stuff that is required to adopt him. So we'll be getting him microchipped and vaccinated and neutered, of course. He'll be registered for us and we'll be getting his dog license and everything. And of course we'll be getting his dental surgery sorted out and anything else he needs. So hopefully everything goes to plan. It is still possible for things to go wrong and he may end up not being ours, but we're hopeful because, you know, the time's nearly up now that everything is going to be okay, which is why I wanted to include him in this video, even if things do go wrong. He has been a huge part of our lives over this last week or so, and I'm totally in love with him already. I'm going to be heartbroken if we can't adopt him. He's so lovely. He's very smart. He's learning very quickly, and you're going to see a lot of him, especially if he stays in our family. You are going to see so much of him as he goes through his training and as he grows up and as we find out who he is really and what he's all about and see how big he gets, because he might grow. He might not grow at all. We don't know, because we don't know exactly how old he is. So that was the big surprise, an extra member of our family that we knew we'd be getting eventually, but you guys had no idea, and it has been a bit of a shock to many people on my social. Puppies are so much work. It has been years since we had a puppy. I remember John being work, but he was not this excitable. This is a whole new adventure, this guy. By the way, if his adoption is successful, I will be doing a story video for him, but only after we have officially adopted him, for obvious reasons. So if everything goes to plan, that video should be out probably anytime between the end of the month and sometime in February, probably. Anyway, I'm gonna wrap this video up. It's gone on a bit, but I know you guys like long videos, so I really hope you've enjoyed it. I need to take you out and play with you for a bit because you've got so much energy in you right now. It's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? I know. If you guys enjoyed this video, please don't forget to leave a thumbs up. You can also share it with your friends and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.